to the Say So podcast. My name is Kaitlin.
What's up? I'm Darby. We are so ready for this conversation.
Yes.
Okay, last week, if you're following along, we talked about no pain, no gain.
Yeah.
So we've got to go through pain, can't avoid pain, and we really want to be girls that talk about the hard things. So we want to continue to talk about the pain and suffering that we go through in life, right? Because I think we can learn to steward that well.
Yep.
But today we kind of want to talk about how do you get through that pain? And sometimes it's not just about like the hard stuff, like well, that's the heavy hard work, but how can we kind of have some light fun stuff in there too? Because that's also what's going to get you through the pain.
Yeah, it is.
Kind of the light. What's the light in that? So Kaitlin, as we were getting ready for this, what do you think that looks like for you? Like getting through those pain seasons and the good things that are in them?
Well, I don't know. I think that's something I'm kind of in the middle of figuring out.
Oh, yeah, right.
Mason asked me the other day, he said, so Kaitlin, tell me, what are your hobbies? What are your hobbies that you do that don't have to do with ministry or church or Bible study? Not that those are bad things, because they're all good things. They're great things. But what do you do that's outside of that? And I literally didn't have an answer.
I'll get back to you.
Yeah. And I was kind of like, I felt like my eyes were opened of like, I feel like I do so many things, but I don't really know what they are. And so I feel like when he asked me that question, it really opened my eyes to see, okay, I think that I need to start thinking about, okay, what are things that I can do that are for me, that are good for me, that I want to do?
Yeah, God is a God of joy. He wants us to have joy. And joy doesn't always mean, we got to choose joy. It doesn't mean just choosing it all the time. I think we can actually have fun things. God is fun. God wants us to have fun.
And I think that you have to be doing those things while you're in the middle of hard seasons or of trials. Like you have to have the outlet. And, for me, if I'm thinking about it, if I look back at my past, I feel like I've done a lot of different things. I've just tried different things. And in the end, I usually took what started as a hobby and then I tried to do it more just for some income. And then I got burnout and then I quit and then I never did it again.
So everything becomes kind of a mission?
Yeah, it's like, I could do this and I can make money at it. Why not? And then when you start doing it, not not purely for the sake of just doing it because you love it, you're doing it now because, it's on your schedule to do, or somebody's depending on you, or you're in a time crunch, or, it's a good paying job. Like now it's not that fun for me. And that's not across the board for everybody. But that's just been my experience. So like I picked up calligraphy, like right when Savvy was born, I think. And I was doing lots of hand lettering, lots of calligraphy, lots of like signage for weddings and addressing envelopes and all that kind of stuff. And I had so much fun. And I started it just because I've always loved to write. I've always been a doodler, like, I don't know, just for fun. Yeah. And so then, like, it became this thing where I had this inventory of, like, 30 signs that, like, where do you keep that? And, you have
Where are they?
Well, now they're in our big storage container that they just need to go somewhere else. I'm just waiting for them to be gone. And then I've got pins everywhere, and I'm stressed out, and I've got a little baby girl, and I just quit. Okay. And so then I did the same thing with makeup. I love makeup. I love beauty. And then I really started pushing like, hey, I could do this for you. Like, hire me to do it. And then I'm like,
I feel like your eyeshadow collection probably looks like a mini Sephora. Like, I don't even know how you know what colors to choose.
I know. It kind of does. Because I got to that point where I wanted to be that. It's what I wanted to do with my time. And then I let it get to an unhealthy place, honestly.
And to some degree, is that kind of what you always wanted to do, even like in high school? Like if you could go back to that girl, she wanted to pursue those things.
Yeah. And I think ultimately it was a good thing in the beginning, and I just kind of let it take over my life. And so I just quit. I just totally quit, And Mason, he's like, we've spent so much just like acquiring inventory and makeup and blah, 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 because that's what you thought you wanted to do. And so I can tell in myself, like, I have been somebody that has started things and quit things when they became not what I wanted them to be anymore. And I feel like I'm not so much that way because I'm a little bit more particular now about what I start.
That's wise.
Yeah, I feel like I've learned that lesson.
Yeah.
But now I don't have any hobbies.
So now we start nothing.
Dang it. Yeah. So I don't have, I don't know. So if I'm going through a trial, what do I do? If I'm going through a hard life, what do I do?
Fun things.
Fun things. Yeah.
Well, I know. I was making a list of my fun things, and then I reached out to my oldest friend, and I said, can you tell me the things that I do for fun? And I was like, I know this sounds really weird, but I said, you've known me a while, and you've known me as being someone in ministry, but then someone who wasn't in ministry, because I do think there's an element to being in ministry where maybe fun doesn't always look like it used to. I'm also almost 40 versus when I was in my 20s, and fun looks different there too. But she said, well, I would say shopping. Which, yes, but that can be expensive, but I do love shopping.
Yeah.
And spending time with friends and laughing. But I want to note on that, it's not just about going out with friends. That would feel probably wasteful to me now.
Yeah.
But it's being with friends that are safe.
Yeah.
So my safe place. Like I'm not, you're not looking at me just judging. Is she always like this? Is she, like I just want to be me and know that I'm loved.
Yeah.
Regardless of what comes out of my mouth, what outfit I show up in, what I eat or drink at a dinner, like just me.
Yeah.
That would be one thing. I do love working out, although it can become, it's a daily discipline and I prioritize it, but it can feel sometimes like work.
Yeah.
So I noticed when in those seasons of my life, I have to throw the ball in the dirt, so to speak, and just say, I'm not working out for this week.
Yeah.
And kind of have to tell myself it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've practiced that as well with things in my life that I enjoy but can make work. And then I was trying to think. I do like to read.
Yeah.
And honestly, I love to dance, and I'm not talking ballet or tap, y'all. I'm talking about just crank up some tunes and just dance.
It's more like rain dancing, but it's fun.
I make JJ do it with me every now and then in the kitchen to Adele.
Yeah.
But there's something really freeing. Probably why I worship the way I do too. There's an element of like, I just want to let my body just out,
go.
like let it out.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are some things.
Yeah. And I think we're having this conversation because let's just be honest about it. When you are just ministry minded in everything you do. I'm going to the grocery store. Oh, who Lord do you want me to talk to? I'm in small group. Lord, what do you want to do here? Even just like at dinner with friends, you want to have intentional conversation.
Yes.
But the reality of it is it's good, but it's just heavy. It's just heavy. And when that's all that, your mind is focused on, I heard this saying one time that you can be so heavenly minded that you're of no earthly good. And I think that's true. It's kind of, I don't know that I fully agree with what that is, but I think it's getting to the point of what I'm trying to say is like, if you are so just spiritual about
all
everything,
the time. Right?
Then at the end of the day, somebody really may just get tired of it and don't really want to hang out because you can't just be.
Oh, yeah. I totally think that that's true. And it's so easy, and it's not even maybe just ministry minded. If you're so mom minded.
Yeah.
If you're so work minded. I mean, and I think that's probably where men tend to go.
Yes.
They get, we all have these tendencies. And I think it's just having conversations like we're trying to do now just in our own life and having people in your life that are like, hey, I think you need to have some fun. Like, because sometimes I think we are so afraid of being selfish, whether you're a mom or you're in ministry or within your work, that you feel like it's wrong. Like, oh, I'll have fun next month. Yeah. Like there's no time for it. Right. But I think if we don't make time for ourselves every now and then, we're just no good to anybody.
Right.
Which I think is what you're saying.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that, we really, we want to focus on being intentional and taking advantage of opportunities with people that, the Lord has you there for a specific reason. It's not to just blow that off. But I think it's just to have a well-rounded, just way of living that, you can just sit down and watch a movie with a friend. Like, you don't have to, like, talk about all the heavy things every time, or you can, go dancing and just have fun and just enjoy the company that you're in,
Yeah, because I think we think there's either a Pharisee or a sinner.
Yeah.
You're a religious leader or you're a sinner. And it's like, why can't we be right in the middle with Jesus, where he's having dinner and drinks with some friends that are all sinners, and he's doing ministry. Like you can actually be doing ministry. You can be impactful. You can be working. You can be all those things by just being. But we just don't know how to do that, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, what's that saying? We're human beings, not human doings.
Yeah.
And I have to remind myself of that all the time, because I am the checklist person and I want to accomplish so much. And to some degree, I think you have to evaluate your personality in it. Like my rest is not a sitting around doing nothing. Yeah. I'm still more of an active rester.
Yeah.
I like to accomplish things, but I always say my favorite day, and I kind of got this from John Maxwell, actually. He said his favorite days when he needs to rest or recharge. I think that's what my thought is on this, recharging. What is recharging for you?
Yeah.
And John Maxwell said his favorite day to recharge is spending the day with his wife with no agenda. And the no agenda thing really hit the nail on the head for me, because I love to still be doing things, but I want to do things as I decide to do them.
Yeah.
Oh, I do want to clean the baseboards today. Or I do want to work out today, but I'm going to do my own workout, not the one, I just want to do what's fun for me in my workout. Or I do want to just go hang out with friends.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to worry about what I'm going to eat or not eat or how many calories or whatever. Not getting religious about my day.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's good. And I think, if I'm just trying to think, okay, how would I move forward with hobbies differently than I have in the past? I think that I just have to figure out, like I told Darby yesterday, I did some girls' makeup for just an event they were going to the other day, and I just had so much fun. It's so much fun. Just creating, and I feel like I've never really, it's a surprise to me that I'm a creative person for some reason, because I never felt like I was. And so now, like, I have to have something that I'm doing that is an outlet for that. Whether it's through what I wear or my makeup or, graphic design or whatever. And so I think for me, like, if I'm thinking about in the future, what's things that I can do consistently in my life that are good for me, that are for me, and, that are just, that bring me joy. I think that that's something I don't have fully figured out, but I recognize that I need it. You know?
That makes a lot of sense.
And so, I don't know, maybe it'll have something to do with makeup. I've got the collection that I need to use,
And you're so good at it.
Thank you. It's fun.
Yeah.
Well, I think that we really just wanted to have the conversation because, we talked about just a lot of heavy things, just a lot of hard things lately, and it's all truthful, and it's all things that we're still going through, and we will forever go through. But, life with the Lord, what I love so much about it is that I say it in my life this way, that joy for me is the baseline. Like, it is inevitable. There will be joy in my life because I have the Holy Spirit in me, because I have a relationship with the Lord. So joy is inevitable, but it's if I'm putting all of these things, I'm letting all of these, tasks and just burdens pile on top of that joy, then sometimes it's hard to reach it. It's hard to feel it. And so that's why we want to talk about things like having hard conversations, like recognizing that life with the Lord, it really is hard sometimes. Yeah. But we cannot let it overshadow the joy that is in us, because, we talk about in church world the difference in happiness and joy. Happiness is fleeting. It's not sustainable. It's not fulfilling. But joy, it's always there. And you're joyful because of the big thing, the big perspective, the heaven, So I don't know. I feel like for me, I just have to be reminded, no, I do have joy. It's not lost. It's not gone. But sometimes I have to literally put myself in a position to see it and feel it and
I don't
believe it.
think that joy is something that you just go, okay, I'm going to choose it, and now my attitude is great,
And now I'm joyful.
everything is great. Sometimes I think joy is literally sitting down and going, okay, I'm going to actually think about what could be fun for me today. I recently have been doing this with my 17-year-old because he needs a recharge too, and so I was just asking him, like, what's fun for you? What do you do that is just no pressure, no people pleasing, no competing, no working? What does that look like for you? And it is different for everyone. And so I think it's good to have people that you can kind of say, does this sound like me?
Yeah.
Does this seem like something I do or I have done or would do? And, like I did with my friend, and for her to say that back to me, like, yep, these are the things I would say about you. I'm like, okay, good. I'm making sure that literally sounds like me. Yeah. And I'm not confusing it or making it up, and just reminding ourselves that, because I think choosing to have the conversation, choosing to even make a list, as simple as that sounds, of like, you know what, maybe I should choose one of these fun things, like calligraphy or makeup. Like, I know that I love these things. God made me to love these things. Yeah. He doesn't want me to just ignore them or,
that's right.
Pretend like they're not important, because they are important, and they're part of who we are. Right. Even.
Well, and I think then you have to figure out, okay, how do I prioritize this in my schedule? Yeah. Amongst all the other things that we all do and everybody else's schedules. And then, keeping it in a healthy, good place. Because like you said, love to shop, love it so much, but it can get out of hand quickly.
Right? Yeah. Even if it's for others.
Even if it's,
totally.
Right? And it'd be so nice if that was just unending, because it's so fun to do that. But it's just not. That's just not realistic. Yeah. So I think, the not so fun part of the conversation is like, it's just to always keep in mind, like, I'm doing this because, I'm a person. God has given me these desires. He's given me this personality. And so what am I doing with it? And also recognizing it is good for us to do fun things, to have fun, to be joyful, to just enjoy people's company. But always recognizing, like, there is a healthy way to do everything. So for me, like, I don't, I talked about this a few months ago, like, recognizing that I say yes to a lot of things. So for me, for how it could get out of hand is I say, yes, I want to do that. Yes, I want to do that, because I love doing it. I'm having so much fun. It's good for me. But if I say yes too often, like, well, then it becomes a burden. It becomes something else that I have to do
instead of get to do.
Yeah. So I think it's just always like kind of keeping it in check and just, I don't know, keeping it in a healthy place.
Well, one thing I've even done the last 2 weeks, because going through a pain season or going through just working on something within yourself, I actually had to look at my calendar and say, okay, I'm at my capacity. I'm feeling burned out. I want to recognize this about myself. I'm hoping this is a word for somebody that's listening. Like, when you realize you're burned out, that means you need to do something fun. That means you need a recharge. And so when that happens, you have to own that. You cannot expect someone to go, oh, you need a break? Take some time off work. Oh, you need a break? You didn't tell me that. You have to own that part. You have to own your feelings, own your time, own your schedule. And so I had to look at my schedule and go, man, I love going to jail ministry. But guess what? I need to take some things off of my plate for a season. It's not forever. And it doesn't mean I failed because I'm removing that. Maybe I can't meet with this person and that person. I love them. I want to be with them, but I have to say no. And I just had this thought of the yoke thing that you talked about last week, because when we start getting unequally yoked, whether it's with your time, your schedule, your spouse, a friend, when you become unequally yoked, you become very tired. So if you're feeling a tired and a weariness and a burnout, that means somewhere, some way you are unequally yoked, and you have got to get yoked with Jesus. Yes, with your spouse, yes, with the things, but how you're going to come into alignment with that is to get yoked back with Jesus, because his yoke is easy and light, which is what Kaitlin shared with us last week's podcast. But I've just been thinking so much about that, because we get to doing all the things like they're for Jesus. And I had to tell Jesus, I'm sorry, I forgot to do them with you.
Right.
I was doing them for you, and I forgot to do them with you. And so I had to really look at my schedule and go, what am I doing for you? But I'm not doing it with you. And so that really helped me see, okay, take a few things off the list. Make some time for me, Darby, some extra time. Because maybe you already spend some But maybe right now you need a little more from me.
That's good.
And you got to make time, make room for that. And so maybe someone else needs to do that too. And it's okay. It's for a season.
Yeah, I think it's just a question of how are you stewarding your time.
It is.
How are you taking care of your time? And if we do the things with Jesus, and then we sit down and we say, for the next hour I'm gonna read, and then I'm gonna get up and make dinner. Like there's the recharge that happens is so sweet and just good, and I don't know, it's good for the spirit, just.
I know. I was in the jail this is my last time. I'm confessing. Okay. It was my last morning there this morning. I'll be quick here. But I was with the girls, and I told them, I said, what is your hope? Like, what gets you through this? And so they were saying, well, it's just because we're in here and we can't be distracted by anything from the world. We're just here. No drugs, no bad friendships, no bad influences. It's just us and ourselves and God. And when you take that time to be set apart, you become set apart.
Yeah.
And I thought that was so interesting that they could say, well, I've sat with my demons now, and I've figured out who I am, and I have a plan for when I get out. And just like us, they get back out in the world, and it doesn't always go the way they planned. But I just think it's neat that when you take the time to be set apart, you become set apart.
That's good. I love that. Well, I hope that, this conversation is just helpful. And our hope always is that you just know, like, never, ever, ever do we have it figured out, but we are just so willing to just talk about it, you know, and just, I think, I just love that we are sitting at this table with you, and that what's so cool is it just feels like the Lord is just uniting so many of us in these same conversations. And so I just know when he does that, it just opens my eyes to see, okay, Lord, what are you doing? What are you at here? Looking at just the bigger purpose in it all. So I hope that you will too, just see that we are all in this together, and this is a family, and man, we just want to continue the conversation. So if you ever have things that you are like, man, let's talk about this, or what do y'all think about that? Like, just let us know. We are so open to talk about it. We're having a lot of fun. So
this actually is fun. I actually had to tell the Lord, I love doing Say So podcast. That is fun for me. It's not work. I love it. It's not a burden.
Yeah, me too.
So y'all have some fun. Have some fun today, even if it's 5 or 10 minutes. Doing something you love, dancing in your living room. Just do it.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, y'all, we'll see you next week.